Yes. We're going to head back over on the topic of who the cap fit today. And we're going to feel uncomfortable for a little bit, but it's just so it go. We have to learn so we can be healed and move on. Now what I want to discuss is this thing called privilege. You see, when it comes to this privilege thing, some believe when others mention it, it is out of jealousy, and that is so far from the truth in most cases. People are just saying, recognize your privilege over others in terms of you being able to walk and live in certain neighborhood without being questioned. Recognize your privilege that you are able to go into a shop without being followed around. Recognize your privilege that you are able to rent or buy properties, whereas another person who do not look like you can't, even though you both have the same legit background. Recognize your privilege that you could end up getting a job that you are not qualified for, and the person that is qualified did not get the job because they did not look like you or the person offering the job. Recognize your privilege that you could be stopped by a law enforcement officer and be treated like a human respectfully, whereas someone who do not look like you is stopped by law enforcement officers and treated like subhuman and disrespected. Recognize your privilege that you could do something wrong or say something disgusting, and many will sort of brush it under the carpet or find an excuse to justify your act. Whereas if someone who do not look like you end up doing exactly the same thing, it is immediate punishment for them. Recognize your privilege that you can go out into the world and not be judged immediately, whereas someone who do not look like you will step out into the world and they are judged straight away before being known. And if you think what many or even I is saying is a lie, then do your very own testing. Go and experiment, and just maybe you will finally get it. Some will say, I am privileged or I am privileged and what do you want me to do about it, in a sarcastic way. Or they will even say, well, it's not my fault I am privileged. Okay, cool. I get it, we get it. No one is blaming you for something you came into this world and saw and living up. After all, the foundations were set up unfairly way before many of you were even born. But at least have a reflect and recognize your own privilege status and ask yourself why the imbalance remains to this very day. Unearned advantages is very real, believe it or not. And privilege do oppress certain groups when it contributes to or blind others to systemic barriers for those who do not possess a certain privilege, believe it or not. And I'm just going to leave this, little encouragement message. Those who get it, get it. Those who don't, I just say it go to. There are those that are living their heaven on earth, and there are those that are living their hell on earth. The truth will set you and your generations to come free. No